welcome back to the channel. Sarah here from Pink Sugar Soapery with my assistant
Sophia.
And today we have a melt and pour soap tutorial for you. This is a really fun summer soap, and I tried a couple of new techniques that worked. Oh my hand, don't show me yet. And a couple of, well, actually one technique that worked and one new technique that did not. So you'll see all of that. You'll see what the finished bar should look like and what it actually looks like. Let's go ahead and get into our freckled lemonade triple butter soap bar
now.
Okay, first things first, I have my slab of melt and pour soap. This is my regular triple butter soap base, Lysol disinfecting wipes. You're gonna need a kitchen scale, 2 containers, a spray bottle of rubbing alcohol or isopropyl alcohol, gloves, a surface thermometer. Now this is like a regular thermometer, like one of the forehead scan thermometers, but you want to make sure that it's on the surface setting, not on the body setting. Then these materials here for cutting and mixing. Our fragrances are strawberry guava from Candle Science and
pink lemonade
from Crafter's Choice or Wholesale Supplies Plus. And we have
neon pink and yellow
mica powders. Now I have my cutting board set up like this for a reason, and you'll see why in a bit, but you want to set up your mold on an angle no matter what kind of mold you'll be using. Now, just as a quick side note, you definitely want to make sure you watch this video the whole way through before you start, because I obviously made some errors that had to be quickly taken care of before moving on to the next step. I'll have everything that I used linked down below along with the measurements required for the recipe. I measured out 12 ounces of the melt and pour soap, and I'm gonna go ahead and melt it off camera. Now this aluminum foil here, essentially the purpose of it is to make a textured or patterned top on our bar of soap. I've never tried this technique before, so we'll kind of have to see. I thought of it, I didn't see anyone else do it. I just kind of thought about it and thought it might work. So stick around to see if that actually did anything. Okay, so we now are going to mix up our soap base, and we're gonna fish out those little pieces of the bag that were kind of melted in between pieces of the soap. Sorry, I know it keeps going in and out of focus. I didn't realize my arm was in the way. So we're gonna fish those pieces out and set them over to the side. Check our temperature because our fragrance oils do have a flash point, and it's 127, so perfect for us to be able to put the fragrance in without it evaporating. We're gonna mix in the yellow mica powder first. All right, we're mixing in our yellow and adding in our fragrance oil. Just make sure you don't have any clumps anywhere. Now moving on to the mold, I did have to last minute change the direction the mold was going in because I'm trying to make a two-toned bar here. This recipe is supposed to be a two-toned bar, but again, you'll see kind of what happened at the end. So I did change the angling of it, so it was angled top to bottom instead of left to right.
And then we are going to pour it in the mold.
Yeah, we're pouring in our yellow part of the soap bar at the angle and just pouring in enough so it does not overflow, and it will fill in about half of each mold.
And make sure the mold is square shaped. Make sure to like and subscribe.
Now, this is actually the worst part because in order to make this two-tone bar, you do have to wait for your first color to firm before adding in your second color. So I waited about an hour, hour and a half. It doesn't have to be perfectly solid, but you do want, you don't want to risk your second color kind of dropping through the surface of the first color. Again, using the double broiler method, we're gonna melt our second 12 ounces of soap. That will give you a total of 24 ounces of soap for this recipe. And that's gonna be about 6 bars with enough left over for 1 or 2 more. But when I made it, it was 6 full bars of soap, 1 half bar of soap, and 1 almost full bar. All right, we're gonna melt everything, and just like we did with the first one, we're going to put our
the neon pink powder in the mixture.
Mix it up, make sure we don't have any clumpy clumps. This one did end up having a few clumps in it, so I'm gonna try and work something out. The yellow did not have any speckles left, but the pink did. So I think what I need to do is figure out a way that I can make sure that the colors are mixed in all the way. I've noticed that with solid micas versus glittery micas, when you're working with a glittery mica, I have found, in my opinion, that they melt better or mix in better than the solid or matte colors do. We're just gonna mix in our micas, check the temperature for our fragrance, make sure it's safe to put in, and it is. So let's go ahead and add that strawberry guava from Candle Science. And now comes the second part. Before you pour in the pink melted soap, you need to spray the surface of the yellow soap with isopropyl alcohol. The higher the concentrate, the better, because that's going to help both sides of the bar melt together. If you don't do this, what's going to happen is when your customer or whoever purchased the bar goes to use it, when the soap gets wet, the two sections will separate. So you want to put this isopropyl in there as like a bonding agent between the two colors. Then we're going to fill the cups, or fill our molds up. Just filling it right up to the top, spraying some isopropyl on the top to pop any bubbles. And as you can see, our last mold was a little bit short, so I went ahead while I was spraying that and melted a tad bit more, and I'm quickly mixing it all together. This is where things started to go wrong. Up until this point, I was really happy with how everything was turning out. So I did go ahead and add the foil on top, and you can see I'm really struggling with whether or not I want to add it. But I did end up putting it on each
point.
Yep, I did end up putting it in each mold. My rationale behind that was I really thought that having the foil there was going to kind of give it, as like when it dried, a textured effect, kind of like ice cubes-ish. That's what I was going for. Yeah, it didn't look good at all. So what I ended up doing after everything had totally dried and I took the foil off, I did not like it all the way that it looked. Here's how I ended up saving it. I left everything in the mold and I put it in the microwave and I melted it again at 30-second increments. I knew this was gonna ruin like the coloring that I had, or the two-tone bar that I had going on. I knew it was gonna ruin that, but I was trying to figure out how I could salvage the bar, and that's what I came up with. So after remelting, I went ahead and let it dry overnight. I actually took everything out of the mold just a few minutes ago, and I wanted to show you how they turned out. This is what I expected the bar to look like. I know this one's a little slanted, but this one didn't fill all the way. I didn't have enough soap melted for it. It's supposed to look something like this. Here is where the mica didn't fully incorporate with the mix. Option 1 or option 2 more? You guys will have to let me know. So instead of it turning out as like a strawberry lemonade, it's really turning into a very freckled lemonade, which is where I think, what I think we're gonna do with this. Again, I like how it looks, it's real nice. I'm just kind of frustrated that that mica didn't mix in.
So we might redo it and show you what that looks like if we have time to.
All right, that's gonna wrap up today's video. You can check out my website for these soaps in a couple days. I just need to get some really good pictures of it. If you haven't checked out my TikTok already, I do have my fragrance oil review series posted over there. Have I reviewed? Yes, actually I did. I should, by the time you see this, have posted the strawberry guava review and the lemonade fragrance oil review that we used today. Again, if you have any questions, leave them down in the comments below, and I'll see you next week.
Don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you want to see her TikTok videos, go to TikTok and follow her Instagram page.
Bye.